With the Monday Night War wrapping up, I thought that the amount of wrestling games released would decrease as the WWF would most likely sit on their laurels. But they must have been selling like hotcakes because between the year 2000 and 2003, the WWF published 16 wrestling games. Before we get into them, let's get the obvious one out of the way first. WCW Backstage Assault was the last game made before WCW was sold off to the WWF, and it's also the worst. In fact, it may be the worst wrestling game of all time. You know how Mayhem was the first to do backstage areas? Well, Backstage Assault only has backstage areas and no ring, because why would a wrestling game have a wrestling ring? I don't know about you guys, but I always found backstage areas in wrestling games to be a bit of a novelty. They're cool the first few times around, but in the end, I always want to go back to the ring. Backstage Assault being backstage only is a complete misunderstanding of what wrestling fans wanted. Not that the actual WCW was doing better in that department in 2000. The game somehow manages to be a downgrade in almost every way to Mayhem, and it mirrors WCW in the year 2000. A cell of its former self that really has no idea what it's doing. You probably didn't need me to tell you that the critics hated this one, but hey, it's the first one that we can use Metacritic on, so at least it did something right.